Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's me John, aka Astro Comics, and today we're back with a new review. This time we're not reviewing a comic book or a TV show, we're reviewing a video game. Assassin's fucking Creed. Can you swear in the first 30 seconds of the video? Anyways, Assassin's Creed. This is my first Assassin's Creed game, and a few days ago, actually yesterday, I finished my third playthrough of this game, so I just wanted to share all my thoughts on it again. So Assassin's Creed 1 came out on the 13th of November 2007. It was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and in 2008, the next year, came out for Microsoft Windows. Now, y'all probably know about the Assassin's Creed franchise. If it was from the legendary Ezio trilogy, if it was from the great open world Black Flag, if it was from some later installments with a more RPG element, which I did not like Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, etc., y'all are probably familiar with this game. The most well-known thing being the parkour, which we'll talk about later in the gameplay section. So let's go over the story first. Assassin's Creed follows two little storylines. The first one follows Desmond Miles. Desmond Miles is your regular guy, you know, he's a bartender and I think and everything. But one day he's kidnapped by these guys from a company called Abstergo, and he meets this scientist doctor guy called Warren Vidic and his assistant Lucy. And basically he's put in a machine called Animus. And if you don't know what an Animus is, it's basically a machine that can access a subject's memories. And Desmond is, held captive and shit. And he learns that he had an ancestor all the way back in the Crusades called Altaïr that we'll go over. So the second and obviously the more interesting storyline is of Altaïr. We can see him on the cover, and I'm not really observant when it comes to character designs, but I can notice that I think he looks a little bit different in the game. And also we'll go over a little bit of the box. So the game begins with Altaïr and two other assassins in a temple, and they're looking for an artifact called the Apple of Eden, and they're also looking for Robert de Sable, a Templar who are the main enemies of the assassin, which we'll go over later, to assassinate him obviously. And they find him. However, Altaïr is ignorant and arrogant, and he breaks the first rule of the creed. Never bring your blade to the flesh of an innocent. He then breaks the second rule, hide in plain sight, which he does not. He barges in front of the Templars, tries to attack them, and causes the death of one of the assassins. In third rule, he brings harm to the Brotherhood, because later Templars arrive, attack the city Masyaf, and kill a lot of people, take hostages and shit. It's messed up. And for this, Altaïr's mentor and master, Al-Mualim, stabs him. However, Altaïr survives, but he is put to the rank of a novice, and basically he has to redeem himself by killing 9 men. He has to kill them and slowly go up the ranks to becoming a master assassin again. Yeah, we have a lot of characters here. We obviously have Desmond, who is not really that interesting to me. In later games he obviously will be, but here I didn't really find him that interesting. He's just asking a lot of questions. However, as Desmond, we can go around, explore Abstergo, the room we're held in. We can hear Warren and Lucy talking. We can explore their PCs, find some secret information if you're interested in the lore. It's a nice little touch. Also, spoiler alert, yeah, this will contain a little spoiler alerts, but in the end, Desmond gets Eagle Vision. Eagle Vision? What the hell is Eagle Vision, you might be asking? Well, let's go over that. So, we're starting gameplay now. And the gameplay of Assassin's Creed 1 is very repetitive, especially if you're going back to it after playing the other games. I recommend playing this game first if you're getting to the franchise, and then the others. It will feel way, way better. But there are two modes while playing. There is low profile and high profile. In low profile, you can do stuff like blend in, gently push civilians inside, maybe punch a little bit and stuff. And Eagle Vision, obviously. Eagle Vision, it lets you see different types of characters and NPCs. There are enemies, there are targets, there are civilians, allies, etc. And it also lets you see hiding spots. At high profile, you can run around, jump, shove someone, tackle them, that stuff. And obviously there's free run where you can parkour, the most known part of Assassin's Creed. This game's parkour is way slower than the other ones, but it feels natural, you know? Well, besides some parts where you throw your entire fucking body weight up a building, yeah, that doesn't work in real life, but it is a nice touch. Altaïr is slow but gentle, and you can climb many different buildings and do different stuff. And there are also guards on rooftops, so you have to watch it, and that's where weapons come into play. In Assassin's Creed, you have 5 different weapons, which is kind of disappointing compared to later games where there's up to 10 weapons and items. So let's go over them. You have the most well-known weapon, not only in Assassin's Creed, but in gaming in general, the hidden fucking blade. Hidden blade, yeah. That is a little like blade knife thing that is on your wrist. And in Assassin's Creed lore, you actually need to like remove your little ring finger so the blade can work. And, you know, if you go into the lore a little bit, it's not actually needed, but in later games it's explained that due to modifications, you do not need to remove your ring finger, which is actually good, because then you will just easily be recognized. However, again, a spoiler alert. Later in game, we learned that Lucy is actually part of the assassins because she doesn't have her ring finger. But that doesn't make sense. If we look into the lore, if you want to use the hidden blade, you don't really need to remove your ring finger. And that isn't really needed to enter the Brotherhood. So why does she do that? I know it's a little bit of a plot hole, the series just began, but still interesting to question. And they never go back to it as far as I know. The next weapon is your sword. It's one of the first weapons you get, and it's a high, strong weapon that I didn't really go back to a lot. You have your fist, not much to talk about there. And you have a short blade, one of my favorites. It's a nice little blade with brutal kills. It also comes with throwing knives that you can equip up to 10, which you can get from Beerus and going to Masyaf, or you can get from pickpocket and thugs. When it comes to Assassin's Creed's combat, it's a little bit weird. There are 2 modes, just as there is in normal gameplay. You can attack, you can dodge, you can grab, that stuff, but you can also counter attacks when holding R1 or whatever button controller you're on, or you can maybe break from a grab, that stuff. And countering is probably the best one. There are guards and enemies that can take up to multiple counters, but you'll kill them eventually. And the best weapon to use is actually the hidden blade in combat. It is hard, you cannot block with this weapon, but once you get it, you can insta-kill any enemy, including bosses. Yes, the final boss, which I will not spoil, I easily countered it with the hidden blade. You just need a little bit of practice. You know what they say, if you can't fight, you have to fly. And you can escape from guards. It's a little bit annoying, especially when they're chasing you around, throwing rocks at you, but it's one of the most intense chase sequences you'll find in gaming. One chase literally lasted up to like 10 minutes for me. You can hide on benches by blending in, you can hide with some scholars by like pretending to pray with them, or you can, be classic and jump into a haystack. Guards won't really check these, you'll have to wait for a few seconds before they lose you, but it is pretty tense. Now we have missions, which are one of the more repetitive and annoying parts of Assassin's Creed. As I said, there are 9 men who you have to assassinate over the course of the game. There's 10 technically, but I'm not going to spoil exactly who it is at the end. You'll have to see for yourself. But basically, you have to go one of the few cities that are in the game. There is Jerusalem, there is Damascus, and there is Acre. I'm not sure how you pronounce that city's name, Acre. But they're all in the Middle East, and there's also Masyaf, which you can go there, to chill, train your fighting skills, etc. So first thing you need to do is go to the bureau leader. And my favorite bureau leader by far was Malik. He is actually one of the guys in the start of the game in the Solomon's Temple who loses his arm. He's very cool. He's a piece of shit at first, but then he'll slowly grow, just as Altaïr does. These guys will basically tell you where you have to go to research about a target, and then you have to find a viewpoint. Viewpoints are basically these towers that you climb, synchronized with, and you can get all the important stuff from them. You then jump down into a haystack, and now you can investigate. There are a few types of missions. I haven't completed every single type, I think. The first one is simple. It's eavesdropping. All you have to do is sit on a nearby bench and listen to NPCs. Second one is interrogation. You have to find some guy talking shit about you or something. Then you go, beat him up, and he tells you information. Then there's pickpocketing, where you obviously have to pickpocket for like letters, maps, or whatever. And finally, there are informants, which will give you information if you complete a certain task for them. While these can be annoying to find, you only need 2 to 3 of them to start an assassination, and it's fairly easy. After completing them, you go back to the bureau leader, he tells you everything, gives you a feather, and you go find the assassination target. I wouldn't say any of the assassination targets are like unique or like complex villains, but they're all very interesting. You kind of remember them. There's a guy who burns books, who's like the lamest villain ever. There's a guy who experiments on people. There's some guy with a fucking Templar helmet who is in a boatyard. Fuck that boatyard, shipyard, whatever it's called. Fuck. You cannot swim in this game just as many games in the past. Maybe Altair's true ancestors are Tommy Vercetti, Cloud Speed, and John Marston. After you find the target, you have 2 ways to approach this. You can obviously go like a true assassin, blending with the crowd, beat a blade, and kill them stealthily. If you have the skill, obviously. Or you can go guns blazing, or swords blazing, I guess, and fight them one-on-one, counter them with a hidden blade like a pro I am, and kill them. Each enemy or target will have a little bit of like talk to give you, monologue to reasons why they were doing it. And some of these guys aren't actually that evil once you look into it. After getting chased around by the guards a little bit, you go back to the bureau leader, show him that you've done it, and that's it. But I have a problem. They give you a feather to get blood on it, so you can show the bureau leader that you've done the deed. And obviously he can hear, from all the fucking bells ringing and you getting chased around that, you've probably killed a person. But realistically, like, how the fuck did he know you killed a person? Like, he could easily do something. Like, Altair could easily just get the enemy to say something like, hey, man, get the fuck out of the city, I was sent here to kill you. The enemy gets out, Altair kills like a random guard or something, gets his blood, and shows it to the bureau leader. And like, nobody would know. DNA shit didn't exist back then. Anyways, every now and then you go back to the modern day, as I said, play as Desmond, explore a little bit. It's boring, but it goes through fast if you just go to bed instantly. Also, there's an interesting thing in cutscenes are like glitches. And if you click a button during the glitch, you can actually get a unique camera angle, which is not much, but I enjoyed it. And finally, as I said, we'll go over the little box. Here on the front cover, we got the age rating, we got the Altaïr, we got the old PlayStation logo actually. I think this is the Spider-Man movie font from Sam Raimi. And Platinum Best of PlayStation. Some of you might be wondering, what does this Platinum thing mean? Nothing. It's just re-releases that you can get from Sony's best games. They do not mean nothing. Blu-ray logo, Ubisoft on the back. It's, I'm not sure what language this is. Either French or German. If somebody knows, please confirm. But my dad got me this version. It's still in English. You got all the shit. You got some highlights. When we open this up, we got the disc. We got the manual. The manual is very interesting. Hold up, I'm trying to get it out with one hand. So the manual again is not in English, but it tells you a lot of stuff about the game. You even get like little notes from the actual characters, commentating on stuff. You get some things about guards and enemies. It's interesting. It's a fun little thing if you like reading these. Now, all these years later, does Assassin's Creed hold up? I'll say it does. If you're obviously a fan of the franchise and never played this one, you might be a little disappointed. But if you're getting into the franchise, it can be a nice little start. It's basic, yes. It lacks a lot of things from the future games like notoriety system, different types of executions. Fuck, it doesn't even have aerial assassinations or executions, which is a shame. But, you can still kind of do them. But yeah, overall I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10. I think it holds up very well in my eyes. First time I played it, I thought it was okay-ish. The second time, I don't really remember. This time, I had a lot of fun playing it. I definitely enjoyed this game, and I recommend it for anybody who's looking for some mindless assassin fun. This was Asher Comics signing off. See ya.